November 4th, 2022 meeting of the election board, and note the presence of all three members, Commissioner Arkush online, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any comments from election board members? No. Okay. Then we'll move on to public comments on items appearing on the agenda. Do we have any public comments on items appearing on the agenda?
We do.
All right, Mr. Stein, will you please read the rules?
Absolutely. All speakers should sign into the meeting sheet available in the back of the room, or if the meeting is virtual, in advance, as directed by Ms. Francisco. All speakers should come to the podium if they are physically able. Speakers should identify themselves by name and municipality. Those seeking to speak during the time set aside for public comments on items appearing on the agenda must state the specific agenda items they wish to address. Those seeking to speak during the time set aside for general public comments must identify the subject matter which they wish to address. All public comments must be relevant or germane to election board business. Under this law, this means that the subject matter of all comments must be limited to items or issues which are currently before the election board for consideration, or which may become before the election board for consideration at a future meeting.
Objection.
Please state the nature of your objection.
That only applies to comments on the agenda, because for general public comment, it's anything germane to the county. It doesn't have to be something that's going to come up before the board or that they're going to look at in the future, because we can't know that.
Very
That's
good.
like it.
Your objection is noted.
I second the objection by Ms. Braccio.
Very good, thank you. Under the law, this means that the subject matter of the comments must be limited to items or issues which may come before the election board for consideration, which may come before the election board for consideration at a future meeting. Whether a matter is germane to election board business, a determination being made by the county solicitor. Time limit of 2 minutes will be monitored, and county staff will respectfully request speakers to conclude their comments if the speaker goes beyond the time allotted. Election board is not required to respond to public comments during the course of the meeting, so the public is reminded this is not an opportunity for dialogue or questions and answers. The election board chair may direct appropriate county staff to follow up on any questions or additional comments after the meeting. Disruptive behavior, including but not limited to yelling from the seats, arguing whether a matter is germane to election board business once the solicitor has made a determination of such, or refusing to yield the floor once time has elapsed. Please state the nature of your objection.
We can not necessarily argue with you, but we can state our case for why it is germane. Otherwise, you are trumping all over our civil rights as for freedom of speech. Are
Objection is
actually
noted.
from
I take it you
I
have a second.
second it
Very good.
on the record. Nice.
Or refusing to yield the floor once time has elapsed, being requested to sit down, shall be grounds for removal or muting without further admonishment or warning. And as always, the election board welcomes written correspondence and comments and feedback at commissioners@montgomery.org.
All right, we can begin.
First, we have Giuseppe Crane Monticelli for agenda item comment on item number F.
Good morning, Commissioners. Giuseppe Crini Monticelli, CRANEY-MONTICELLI, Conshohocken Borough. My comments could be on F here. We're looking at the appointment of temporary poll workers, Dory Sawyer. I was going to vote, this is perfectly fine up until this morning of details that were released in the reporter. So for reasons that will soon very well come to light, I have an objection on agenda item F. Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Pauline Braccio, who has agenda item comment on item number E.
Pauline Braccio, Townsend Township. Yes, this has been spoken about by many people already. 2 minutes is not a reasonable amount
Ms.
of time.
Braccio, this is reserved for time for comments on agenda items.
Yes, the
And
agenda
that-
item says limited to 2 minutes. I'm
That
thinking that up.
is a general public comment item.
It's on the agenda.
Ms. Braccio,
This is what I
this will
Yeah.
count towards your public comment time.
5 minutes is better, and it used to be 5 minutes, and it should go back to 5 minutes. 2 minutes is not reasonable, and if you knew the law, you would understand that.
Next, we have Kim Henderson.
So this is for general, it's not on the agenda.
Okay, so then,
I think we're through agenda.
So we're in general
We're in
public comment
general
now.
public comment.
Okay, so I can go ahead.
Yep.
Good morning, Kim Henderson, East Norton Township. My question or comment will be regarding Department of State document called County Election Integrity Compliance Report, submitted pursuant to Act 88 of 2022, Pennsylvania Election Code, Section 1603A. The County Board of Elections of Montgomery County has conducted an internal review of board practices and certifies to the Department of State that the county complies with each of the following statutory requirements. And so there's check boxes, there's 6 check boxes, they're all checked. Approval of voter registration applications under 25 PA CS 1328A relating to approval of voter registration applications. The second one is cancellation of deceased electors under 25 PA CS 1505 relating to death of registrant. The third one is voter removal programs under 25 PA CS 1901, 1 and 3 relating to removal of electors. And the next one is safekeeping of voted ballots under section 1308A, 25 PS, 3146.8 and 1113A, PA, 25 PS, 3031.13. The next one is enforcing the voter identification provisions under section 1302.2. And then the last one is pre-canvassing and canvassing of absentee ballots and mail-in ballots under section 1308. The Montgomery County elections of Montgomery County, the Board of Elections of Montgomery County, or the body having the same legal responsibilities under home rule or approved form of government hereby approves this certification, submitted not later than September 24th. So only 2 of the election boards signed this. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to state that only Ken Lawrence and Val Arkush signed this. Joe Gale did not, and I'm questioning why. Thank you very much.
Next for public, general public comment, we have Giuseppe Craney Monticelli.
Giuseppe Kearney, Monticelli, Conshohocken Borough. My general public comments could be about ballot boxes. Say ballot harvesting doesn't happen. Oh, it does. Susan Circle, Springfield Township, right next to there is a mailbox that is located right there on Paper Mill. Who's to say someone middle of the night wants to come by? Somehow they were able to, go ahead and get ballots. And they take all these ballots without having the proper documentation for having multiple ballots. And they put that in the mailbox. Boom. That's ballot harvesting. How about the Fort Washington Post Office? There's a drive-through mailbox. You gotta have people on vehicles going up there, middle of the night, putting in so many at once. At least that's under more security there. You got cameras. But for mailboxes inside the post office, you got cameras. But in locations when you're outside of that, you're on the public street, you are not going to go ahead and have those cameras. The very best, you gotta have Ring doorbell cameras, some neighbors with actual good security. Other than that, you don't know. But ballot harvesting, I could confirm for this election, 100%, it has been done. Thank you. That is the end of my general public comment.
Next, we have Pauline Braccio for general public comment.
Pauline Braccio, Comments in Township. Ken, you were quoted in the Reporter last night or yesterday saying, of course, we have a hometown candidate for governor, Josh Shapiro, which I think will spark it anyway, went on and on. You are the chair of the Board of Election of Montgomery County. So that is totally inappropriate for you to be pushing one candidate over another. First of all. Second of all, what you failed to say is that Josh Shapiro is a protector of rapists, as you are a rapist, and he protects you and promotes
We've had
you.
this conversation a number of times.
Yeah, and it
Please
has
keep your
done
comments
nothing.
germane to
You
county
can be quiet
legal
now.
business.
Thank you.
Braccio, you're gonna
Anyway,
keep your comments
you really
germane.
should tell the whole truth about Shapiro if you want people to vote for him, because they shouldn't be voting for him. He's a misogynistic jerk, and he doesn't care about women in any way, shape, or form.
Braccio,
The fact that he wants men to be on
Gotcha.
women's sports teams is a big deal. The fact that he wants men,
Braccio,
good
you need
boys
keep
to
your
go
comments
into-
germane to election board business.
it is.
This is
He
not,
is the chair, and this is the Board of Election,
and then please keep your comments germane to election board business.
and I am. Okay, this is the election board. He is the chair, and he's making comments pushing Shapiro. He should not be doing that. That is totally inappropriate for anyone who's in that position, because that's just saying, you know, it doesn't matter who you vote for, we're going to cheat. And we're going to get Shapiro elected, at least in this county, if not others. That's what you're saying. And you are a rapist, and he does protect rapists.
Next, we have Barb Furman for general public comment.
Hello. Barb Furman. Barb Furman, New Hanover Township. This country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles, values, which instituted a system of self-government. William Penn, the founder of Pennsylvania, envisioned this holy experiment as well. That would mean as commissioners being elected, you are serving us as equals. So when you accuse law-abiding citizens that watch the process of voting of possible intimidation just by their presence, that intimidates me. And that's not right, because we are equals. We are presenting gaps in process and and you are just making statements that aren't true. And declaring that citizen watchers could be liars. Without trust on both sides, this self-governing model falls apart. Although drop boxes are now watched by county employees, the system of no limits on mail-ins and no ID verification of most voters has compromised the trust that the people, the citizens, the equals in this self-governance model have in the entire system. So in the next election, we need to have no drop boxes, no mail-ins, absentees as before, in-person voting, counting at the precinct on day of, and get the results then. Thank you.
Okay, we have a couple folks online. So first we'll go to Adrian Seltzer, if you want to unmute.
Hello, Adrian Seltzer, Lower Merion. To address what the last person said, it is illegal to photograph another person casting their ballot. Also, the process for mail-in ballots and absentee ballots, excuse me, are exactly the same. You just have to say you won't be in town on an absentee ballot. A no excuse mail-in ballot is just that. It's an absentee ballot without an excuse. So also, I would like to compliment Voter Services and Sarah on their effort to get student poll workers in Montgomery County. This is a wonderful civic endeavor and helps students learn about the process so that they aren't filled with misinformation like some of the people who are speaking here today. That is all I have to say, and please keep the drop boxes. In fact, I would like to see them open a little longer, especially this last weekend and the day before Election Day. Thank you.
Okay, next week we'll go to Suzanne Stepanek. You can just unmute.
Thank you. My comments are regarding the security of ballots in drop boxes. I've been a Dropbox watcher this season, and I and other Dropbox watchers that were there at the same time that I was when we were changing shifts both observed that the ballots are being picked up many different times during the day and not after the boxes are closed, not after 8 p.m. They've been picked up at 6 p.m., at 4:10 p.m., at 3:55 p.m. And when both me and my other Dropbox watcher asked the guard what happens if ballots come in after this pickup, he said they sit in there overnight. I mentioned this in the meeting yesterday, and someone refuted that and saying that ballots are never left in there and that there's multiple pickups. There are not multiple pickups. There's one pickup, and whatever time of day it is, any ballots that come in after there are sitting in those boxes overnight. And I also wanted to say that even though we're not allowed to take pictures of anything there, the people that are sitting there, the county workers, they're taking pictures of Dropbox watchers, and they're also recording our license plates, and they're engaging in intimidating behavior. They've threatened many of the Dropbox watchers with arrest and all of this kind of stuff. So I just wanted to mention that. And I don't think that those boxes are secure because the covers that they put on them, even though they have a little lock on them, that lock is attached to the cover itself. It's not attached to the ground or to the box. They appear to be able to be lifted right off of there. And yes, I know the boxes have little locks on them, but I think anybody that really wanted to break into those to add ballots or whatever. And besides which, also as Dropbox watchers, when they're delivering quote unquote empty bins, we aren't allowed to see inside there. For all we know, there's a bunch of ballots in those bins before they put them in there. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our public comment.
All right. We are going to move on with our next agenda item now, which is appointment of temporary poll workers. Ms. Bracchio, if you want to take a call, you can leave the room. We're conducting a meeting here.
Good morning, Election Board. Dory Sawyer, Director of Elections. Section 2675 of the Election Code permits the Board of Elections to temporarily appoint qualified individuals to fill any vacancies at any time in the 5 days preceding an election. There's a list attached to your agenda entitled Poll Worker Appointments for the 2022 General Election, and we are requesting that the board move to approve the individuals on this list to serve in the named election districts in the named positions for the November 8th, 2022 general election and for this election only. The poll workers are denoted as to whom is elected and whom is appointed. Clerks and machine operators are always appointed, but that list is broken down by precinct and position and whether the position is an elected official or an appointed official, just for clarity.
Okay, I will make a motion that the people whose names are set forth on the attached spreadsheet titled Poll Worker Appointments for the 2022 general election as non-elected poll workers are designated to serve as members of the various local boards of election throughout Montgomery County for the date of the general election, Tuesday, November 8th, 2022 only. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Arkush. Is there any board comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Motion passes. Do we have any board comments? Oh, okay, hearing none, I'll make a motion to recess the November 4th, 2022 meeting of the Montgomery County Board of Elections until 12 p.m. on Monday, November 7th, 2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Arkush, any board comment? Hearing none, meeting is recessed.